It is a Saturday morning in June. You are standing at the end of your driveway with a cup of coffee, looking at the worst lawn on the block. And you know it is the worst one because you have walked this street 1,000 times. The Hendersons have that deep green carpet. The fellow on the corner has stripes in his yard like a ball field. And then there is yours, thin in the middle, brown along the front walk. Bare dirt under the maple tree. You have spent real money trying to fix it too. The 4-step program in the heavy bags, the weed and feed. The little hose-end bottles that promise the world on the label. And every August, it looks about the same as it did the August before. But here's what 30 years and a lot of old-timers taught me. The greenest lawn on your street is not getting more product than yours. Most years, it is getting less. And by the end of this video, you will have a plan you can run start to finish in one single weekend. Stay with me all the way through because the biggest difference between your lawn and the best one on the block comes down to one setting on your mower that most folks have dead wrong. And the reason it matters is something the sun does down at ground level that nobody at the hardware store ever explains. I'm Garry Strickland. I'm 63 years old. I spent my working life as a carpenter, and for better than 30 years, I've kept the same quarter acre in the same Midwest neighborhood. Most of what I know came from my old neighbor Earl, a World War II veteran who had the thickest lawn on the street, and nothing in his shed but a rotary mower and a coffee can of grass seed. These days, my lawn is the one folks slow down for. So pull up a chair and let me tell you something. Before we touch a rake or a bag of seed, you need to know why your lawn is losing. Because it is not for the reason the lawn store wants you to believe. A struggling lawn is almost never a grass problem. It is a soil problem and a habits problem. Those bags and bottles feed the blades of grass for a couple of weeks, the way a candy bar feeds a hungry man. They do next to nothing for the ground underneath, and the ground underneath is where a lawn is won or lost. Earl used to tell me the lawn was here a long time before the lawn store was. The old groundskeepers kept ball fields and cemetery lawns green clear through the Depression without a 4-step anything. What they had were habits, cheap ones, patient ones, and that is what I am handing you today. One weekend, 3 parts. Saturday morning, we red your ground and get it ready. Saturday afternoon, we feed it and seed it for less than the cost of one of those hose-end bottles. Sunday, we set up the watering habit that carries it through summer. Every step is sized for a regular person with a regular Saturday, with no machines to rent and nothing heavy to haul. And I know I keep mentioning that mower setting. Hold that thought, because it is the very last thing we set before the weekend is done. And it is the part that decides whether all this work lasts past July. Now, everything I am walking you through this weekend comes out of a little book I put together called The Old Ways. 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers. Before the old fellas who taught me were all gone, I sat down and wrote out every trick they gave me over 30 years plain enough, that anybody can follow along. It is 104 pages. The soil secrets they swore by, the watering and mowing habits, the pantry and garage tricks that cost pennies, and the old-timer fixes for the headaches every lawn gets sooner or later. It is $17, marked down from $47. That is less than one of those bottles you buy again every single year. And this you buy once. That's the kind of math the catalog stopped doing for you. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, neighbor, Saturday morning, coffee in hand, let's go read your ground. The first tool of the weekend is not a spreader, and it is not a bag of anything. It is a plain flathead screwdriver out of your kitchen drawer. Walk out to the worst patch of your front yard. Push that screwdriver straight down into the soil. Take your time with it. If it slides in easy, 4 or 5 inches with a steady push, your soil is soft and breathing, and that is good news. If it stops hard after an inch, like you hit a board under the grass, your soil is compacted. Compacted is just a $5 word for packed down tight. Packed soil sheds water like a driveway, and roots cannot push through it any better than that screwdriver can. Now do the same test in 3 or 4 more spots. Try the green areas and the brown areas both. 9 times out of 10, you will find the brown spots are the hard spots. The old cemetery groundskeeper downtown showed me that test with a pocket knife back in the 90s, and I have never needed anything fancier. Here is the why behind it. Every dog walk, every mail trip, every pass of the mower along the same worn path presses. That ground down a little more, the same way 30 years of my pickup truck packed my gravel drive. Grass is not dying on those spots because it is wheatgrass. It is dying because it is trying to grow through a packed floor. Knowing that changes everything you do next, but the screwdriver only tells you where the trouble is. Fixing it starts with the mower, and this next part is going to sound like I have lost my mind. Today, and only today, you're going to mow your lawn short. Set the mower deck 1 or 2 notches lower than you usually run it. Mow the whole yard, put the bag on the mower and collect the clippings this one time. I know that goes against everything I will tell you at the end of this video, and I promise you the reason is coming. For today, the shortcut and the bagging do one simple job. They open up the ground. So the seed we spread this afternoon can actually reach the soil instead of getting hung up in tall grass like a penny dropped in shag carpet. One more thing while you are at the mower, look at your blade. If you cannot remember the last time it was sharpened, it is dull. A sharp blade cuts grass clean, like scissors through paper. A dull blade tears it, like ripping a phone book, and every torn tip turns brown and gives the whole lawn that gray-tired look. Most hardware stores will sharpen a mower blade for a few dollars. While you wait, or a new blade runs about the price of a large pizza. Earl sharpened his by hand with a file on his porch steps, and his lawn looked like green velvet with a mower older than I was. So that handles the mowing. But it leaves you with those bare spots under the maple. And along the walk and grass seed thrown on bare, crusted dirt is money thrown to the birds. Here is where a plain garden rake earns its keep. Go to each bare spot and each thin patch you found this morning. Scratch the surface hard with the rake. You are trying to loosen just the top half-inch of soil, no deeper than that. Half an inch, that is all. Break up the crust until the dirt looks rough and crumbly, like the top of a coffee cake. Take your time and rest when you need to, because there is no clock on any of this. Now the why. A grass seed is a tiny thing with no muscle at all. Drop it on hard crust, and it just sits on top, and the first good rain washes it straight down to the gutter. Give it loose, roughed up soil, and it settles into a little pocket, holds on, and puts its first root down where the moisture is. The old groundskeeper at the ball field downtown used to drag a section of chain link fence behind his tractor to rough up his infield edges before seeding. You and I just need a rake and a Saturday, and once your spots are scratched open, the ground is ready to be fed. This next step is the one the lawn store hopes you never learn, because the whole thing costs about $6. Saturday afternoon starts with a bag or 2 of plain screened compost from the garden center. Compost is nothing mysterious. It is leaves, grass, and kitchen scraps that rotted down into rich, dark, crumbly soil food. Spread it thin across your bare spots and your thinnest areas. Thin means half an inch deep or less. Half an inch, no more, because we are feeding the lawn, not burying it. Then take the back of your rake and work it in until you can see the grass tips poking through. On a typical front yard's trouble spots, 2 bags will do it, and 2 bags runs you about $6. Now here's the why, and it is the whole difference between the old way and the bottle way. That bag of quick fertilizer feeds the grass blades directly, a 2-week jolt and then nothing. Compost feeds the ground itself. It wakes up the earthworms. And all the little living things in your soil and those workers loosen packed dirt, hold water like a sponge and feed your grass slow and steady all season long. Earl put it plainer than any book I ever read. He said, "You do not feed the grass, son. You feed the dirt, and the dirt feeds the grass." The men who kept those Depression-era cemetery lawns green had no fertilizer budget at all. They had leaf piles and patience, so the ground is fed. Now comes the part everybody rushes, and it is the seed itself. For cool season country, which is most of the northern half of America, you want a quality seed mix suited to your region, and the label on the bag will say cool season right on it. Buy the mix that matches your light. sunny mix for open yards, shade mix for under that maple tree. Do not buy the cheapest bag on the shelf because the cheap bags are padded with filler and weed seed. And that is one place the old timers, and I say spend the extra $3. Now spread it. On the bare spots you raked, scatter seed by hand, generous but not piled. You want it to look like a light snow flurry landed on the dirt, not a blizzard. If seeds are stacked on top of each other, that is too much, and the sprouts will choke each other like too many tomato plants in one pot. After it is down, here is the little trick that separates seed that grows from seed, that feeds the sparrows. Shuffle over every seeded spot with your boots, or press it down with the flat of your rake. That is it. Seed touching soil is seed that grows. Seed sitting on top, in the open air, mostly does not. Earl kept his seed in that old coffee can on his workbench, and I watched him do the boot shuffle over a patch job many times, 81 years old, scuffing along like he was putting out 100 tiny campfires. It looked silly, and it worked every single time. And now your seed is down, which brings us to the one thing that will make or break it in the next 14 days. Remember that mower setting I keep promising you? It matters most right after this part, so stay with me. New seed has exactly one demand, and it is not fancy. The top inch of soil has to stay damp until the sprouts are up. Damp like a wrung-out sponge, not soggy like a swamp. Here is the routine, and it is the opposite of what we will do for the rest of the lawn on Sunday. Water your seeded spots lightly for 5 to 10 minutes. Do it twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the late afternoon. That is 5 to 10 minutes. Twice a day for about 2 weeks until you see green fuzz standing up. A gentle setting on the hose nozzle or a small sprinkler is all it takes. And if you can see the water pooling or running off, that is too much. Ease off. The why is simple and a little unforgiving. A grass seed swells with water and then sprouts. If it swells up and then dries out even once on a hot afternoon, that seed is finished, and no amount of watering later brings it back. This is the step where most patch jobs die, not from neglect all season, just from one skipped Tuesday in week 1. Put a note on the refrigerator if it helps. 10 minutes with the morning coffee, 10 minutes before supper, and in 2 weeks, that bare spot under the maple has a green haze on it, so Saturday is done, my friend. Ground reed, lawn mowed, spots raked, soil fed, seed down, and watered. Sunday morning is where we set the habits that carry the whole lawn, and the first one saves you money every month from here on out. Sunday's job is the watering habit for the whole lawn, and it comes down to 4 words the old groundskeepers lived by: deep and rare. A lawn wants about 1 inch of water per week total, counting whatever rain does for you. 1 inch once a week in 1 or 2 good long soakings, not a light sprinkle every evening. Here is the why, and once you hear it, you will never unhear it. Grass roots grow toward water. If you sprinkle a little every day, all the moisture stays in the top inch of soil. So the roots stay in the top inch too, right where the July sun bakes them. That is why daily watered lawns are the first ones to brown out in a heat wave. But when you soak deep and then let it dry for days, the water sinks down 6, 8 inches, and the roots chase it down there where the ground stays cool. And damp all summer, deep roots are the whole ballgame. Now, how do you know when you have put down 1 inch? Here is the trick the ball field keeper taught me, and it costs you a can of tuna. Eat the tuna first. Set the empty tuna can out on the lawn where the sprinkler hits. Run your sprinkler and check your watch. When the can is full to the brim, that is your inch, and however long it took, that is your watering time from now on. At my place, it is about 45 minutes, but every sprinkler is different. So run your own test once and you know forever. Water early in the morning if you can, when the wind is calm and the sun cannot steal half of it. And with that habit set, there is exactly one thing left to do this weekend. It is the mower setting I planted in your mind at the start of this video. And here's where I keep my promise. Walk out to your mower one more time. Find the deck height adjustment, usually a lever by the wheels. Raise it to 3 inches, or to the highest notch it has, 3 inches. That is the setting, and from this weekend forward, you never mow lower again. Now here is the why, and it comes in 2 parts, because this one setting is doing 2 jobs at once. Part 1 is above the ground. Every blade of grass works like the plant's kitchen. The green blade takes in sunlight and turns it into food, and the plant spends that food growing roots. A longer blade makes more food grows deeper roots. And deeper roots find water in August when the shortcut lawns on your street have gone crispy and brown. Cut your lawn down to a putting green and you are not making it tidy. You are starving the kitchen. Part 2 is the one nobody at the hardware store ever explains, and it happens down at ground level, right at the soil line. Crabgrass seed and most weed seed with it is lying in your soil right now. It has been there for years and it is patient. What wakes it up is sunlight and warmth landing directly on bare soil. That is the trigger. A lawn kept at 3 inches throws shade across the ground underneath it. So the soil surface stays cool and dark, and those weed seeds just sit there asleep. Year after year, a scalped lawn does the opposite. Every short mowing lets the summer sun hit the dirt, warms it up, and rings the dinner bell for every crabgrass seed in the yard. And then the same store that sold you the low, tidy cut sells you the bottle to kill the crabgrass the low cut invited in. Earl never once owned a bottle of crabgrass killer. He owned a mower set high, and that was the whole trick. The old fellas knew things the bottle can't sell you. One last rule to go with it. Never cut off more than 1/3 of the blade in any one mowing. So if the grass is standing at 4.5 inches, you take it to 3. And no lower. Mow high, mow with a sharp blade. And the lawn shades out its own weeds while you sit on the porch. And that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old fellas taught me. And the book has 49 more just like it, laid out just as plain. The Old Ways by me, Garry Strickland, 104 pages of the soil secrets. The weekly habits, the yearly rhythm, and the fixes for when things go wrong. Every one of them tested on my own quarter acre, $17 down from $47, and it does not empty and need buying again next spring the way that bottle does. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is the whole weekend, neighbor. Read the ground with a screwdriver, one low mow rake, and feed and seed the thin spots. Water new seed light and often water the lawn deep and rare, and raise that mower deck to 3 inches for good. Tell me in the comments what your lawn is fighting right now and what state you're in. I read every single one. And next time, I am going to show you the $2 pantry powder Earl used on dandelions, and the reason it only works if it goes down before 10 o'clock in the morning, because that reason is the difference between a dead dandelion and a wasted powder. Keep that lawn thick and green, my friend, and I'll see you over the fence.